Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Duncan McCollum coming to you live from Santa Cruz, California, and I'm very happy to be here. There's some pretty good news on the horizon as far as your health goes, and we're going to be rolling out a 30-day challenge coming up here starting on the 27th. And I want to tell you about this because now is the best time ever to get yourself healthy. So many changes are happening in the world right now in the health industry. A lot of things are coming clear about what is happening with health in our country. So we actually are rated 50th in the world for health, and there's 49 countries healthier than us, yet we take more drugs than any country in the world. And we're also the most obese country in the world. And almost all children, 50% of the children have autoimmune diseases. Uh, Chronic diseases everywhere, as well as peripheral neuropathy, which is the end all. I say all roads lead to peripheral neuropathy because we see people walk in here all the time, unable to feel their toes, their feet, what have you. Now, there's some interesting news today, interesting news about some of the things that they're putting in our food, and it is specifically red dye number 3. Now, you may have heard this. There's been so many dyes and food additives that are banned from our food supply, but so many others are still there, even though for 30 years we've known that they cause things like the C word in animal in rats, right? Well, not humans, just rats. But red dye number 3 came under scrutiny in the last day, where they are now banning it from so many different food sources. I think it's in more than 9,200 different types of foods. It's in cereals and candy. It's actually in some of the medications that our children take for anxiety. It's unbelievable that this product has been allowed to last as long as it has. Now, the FDA has said that we have to get rid of the red dye number 3. It's about time. About time is an interesting subject because they have till January of 2027 to get it out of our food. So just because it's banned doesn't mean it's going to vanish today. But the good news is they're starting to spot it and they're starting to do things to help us get this stuff out of our diet. Now, there's been a lot of other dyes that have been banned and include in a lot of different food additives, but we have over 1,300 different additives they're putting in food that the FDA and CDC, or the FDA has cleared. And we know that so many countries out there won't allow those same additives in their food. They won't allow America to sell the food, even though it's called the same thing in other countries. The manufacturers take a lot of the products out in order to make that happen. So yellow dye number 5 and number 6 are also on that list. Then there's blue dye 1 and green. You want to start to pay attention to what you're putting in your body. Now, the good news is there is an awakening in the United States about our health. So many of us have been struggling for so long to try to do the right things, eat naturally, and stay away from the toxic foods. So, but it's very difficult to do. Now, one thing I want to let you know, obviously you want to start to read packages, and you want to know what's in your food and where it comes from. There's a very large store around the United States that has touts to be local, and you find out that when you turn on the back, it says product of China. So buyer be wise, okay? Our bodies have got so much toxicity in them in the way of heavy metals, molds, chemicals like glyphosate or Roundup, forever chemicals, Teflon that we get out of the pans that the nonstick pans, all of the stuff we put on our body, in our body, in the house. So we are doing a major step coming up on the 27th of January, and you're invited to join us. And it's going to be a way to get your health back again. It's going to be a way for you to actually learn how to improve your health and make your health happen again. And it's January 27th. I'm going to talk about this today. I'm going to tell you how you can find it. There's a link below if you're watching the Facebook Live, but you can also email info at McCollum Family Chiropractic and ask for information. It starts on the 27th. It's a Monday. And or you can call the office, 831-459-9990. So what is the Make Your Health Happen Again workshop all about? It's a 30-day challenge. It's going to help you learn about several key steps to becoming healthy. We're going to learn about fasting. We're going to learn about what the ketogenic diet done correctly. Before COVID, way back then, we were running this when a lot of people didn't even know what fasting was and what COVID was. Excuse me, what a lot of people didn't know what fasting was and or the ketogenic diet. They didn't understand diet variation. What is that? I'll be going through that a little bit today, but we're going to be teaching it starting the 27th, and it's a workshop. It's online. Every Monday, we'll do a Zoom live so you can get your questions answered. We'll be giving you a little information to help you change your health, change your life. And this is going to be a real fun thing. We've done this off and on for years. People turn their life around. I had one of my a friend who actually has a radio show in town came in and we were talking. He goes, I lost 7 watermelons on a 7-week program we did. 7 watermelons. He lost over 30 pounds in by doing this. It's not necessarily all about weight, it's about your health. But one thing about um, fat, fat cells, is fat stores toxins. And you have to be very careful about doing anything to burn the fat too quickly. There's a lot of trends out there and things that you can buy and pop that help burn fat very quickly. One of the major problems is that in that fat cell, as it opens up, it's dumping toxins into the bloodstream. And this can make you sick. It can cause what's called a Hertz reaction, where too much toxins in the body creates symptoms. It can unleash, when you do this too fast, it can unleash hidden bacteria, viruses, parasites, so many different things that can be affecting your health that are hidden inside the fat cells. So, um, if you, when our body gets overwhelmed with toxins, and we are in a very toxic environment, the food that we eat is extremely toxic. Other countries won't even let it in the country. There's 250 trillion tons of toxins dumped on a billion, 250 billion tons of toxins dumped on the environment every year on our planet. And it's not getting any better. Our bodies are getting sicker and sicker and sicker. So it's really important that we start to learn how to detoxify our body. So the 30-day challenge is going to be really fun. The first week, we're going to teach you about what to eat and what not to eat, what kind of foods. We're going to give you all kinds of menus and shopping lists, talk about healthy oils and versus the toxic oils that are making our cells sick. We're going to talk about what it takes to be healthy. We're going to talk about fixing the cell to get well. One of the pages of my book, Turn Back Your Biological Clock, this is page 148, has a depiction of 3 cups. One is half full, one is completely full, and the other one is spilling over. So when this occurs in your body, that the cup starts to fill over, that's when toxins can no longer be stored in your fat cells or in the tissue, and it's running around in the bloodstream, splashing up against the cells of our body and making us sick, causing autoimmune diseases, triggering bad genes, and creating chronic disease. So we know that toxins cause inflammation. So think about it. If you have a cut on your hand and you rub dirt in it, it's not going to heal very well. And as long as there's dirt in that wound, it's going to get infected, it's going to swell up, and you're going to have a lot of health problems with it. So, excuse me. So you got to clean the wound to help the body heal. We have 75 trillion cells in our body, and all those 75 trillion cells all do 60 million functions a minute, all controlled by the brain. And the amount of chemical reactions and processes that occur at that cellular level when there's toxins in the cell or in the body cause it to tilt, kind of like a pinball machine for anybody that's ever played one of those, right? It's or a software program in your computer that just doesn't work anymore. You got to reboot it. You got to clean out the viruses. Well, your body works the same way. So one reason we're so sick is because of the toxic environment. And then not only the toxic environment, but also the toxic accumulation in our body. If our body can't get rid of those toxins, like that picture I showed you a minute ago, where it starts to, your cup runneth over with toxins, then those are going to be free flowing in your bloodstream, in your lymphatic stream, in your brain, because it will eventually cause something called the blood-brain barrier to get inflamed, which lets bad things in the brain. These are going to be heavy metals, molds, hidden infections, forever chemicals, glyphosate. Glyphosate actually, which is Roundup, gets in our body and it opens up the blood-brain barrier more than it already is and helps drive more and more toxins into the brain. And we already know that so many Alzheimer's disease, dementia, these things are at an all-time high where they were not known that well back in the 70s. Now, I remember my grandma had hardening of the arteries and she got dementia. But the plethora of this is, the widespread amount of this is ridiculous. And there is a cause, and the cause is toxicity in the body that is unable to eliminate. And your liver is the number one elimination organ in your body. It's the number one detoxifying agent. Every single red blood cell goes through your liver 5 times a minute. And that same red blood cell goes through your pinky 5 times a minute. Every time it goes through the liver, it's cleansed and all the bloodstream is cleansed and the bad stuff that the bloodstream has picked up to try to get out of the body is then filtered by the liver into the intestines or converted into some kind of um, water soluble toxin that the kidneys can get rid of. So this system works really well as long as it can communicate, it's not overburdened. And when it becomes overburdened, bad genes are turned on. And so we're doing this workshop where we're going to help you understand this in a weekly basis. It's 30 days. We're going to teach you about um, first, the right type of foods to eat, what to eliminate, what to look for under your kitchen sink, what kind of toxins are you spraying around the house. If you have those little smell good things stuck into the light socket that's putting some odor out, these things are all poison and toxic. And in order to get healthy, you've got to lessen the burden of toxins you're exposed to every day. If you're trying to detoxify your body, but you haven't stopped the inflow of toxins, you're not going to get anywhere. You might feel a little better, but you're not going to stop the major problem, which is chronic inflammation in the body. So chronic inflammation causes chronic disease. And so what causes chronic inflammation? Well, it's pretty simple. Toxins, toxicity, whether it's stuff that your own body made or if it's stuff that you got from the environment. But here's the equation for my book, Turn Back Your Biological Clock. And maybe it's backwards, maybe not, but it says toxins lead to chronic inflammation. Chronic inflammation leads to chronic disease. So we're going to help you understand how to turn this around in 30 days. And if you want to join, go to info at McCollum Family Chiropractic. McCollum, alphabetical order on the vowels. That's how I remember. Go to info at McCollumFamilyChiropractic.com and say you want to join the 30-day cleanse. They'll send you a link so you can look at it. You're going to be getting a recipe book. You're going to get a guide to help you understand what you need to do to turn your health around. You're going to form good habits. You're going to learn about fasting and the intermittent fasting window. You're going to find out how to restrict the amount of time throughout the day that you eat so that your body has a time to rest. So, do you know that a huge amount of your energy, I've heard up to 60% of your energy goes to digest your food. So think about eating a big turkey dinner, you know, then you want to go lie down and rest. Why? Because your body's got to digest. You ever seen the wild animals of the forest? They, forage and they, maybe a predator makes a big kill. They eat. And what do? They lie down in the sun and rest for 3 or 4 days while their body digests. So when we eat all the time, and a lot of people have been told to eat several meals a day because they might have diabetes or something like that, you might be regulating your blood sugar a little bit, but you're not giving it a chance to heal. Because when your body wants to heal, a lot of different processes have to occur, and you need energy to do that. So if you're eating all the time, a huge amount of energy is shunted over to the digestion of food. So your immune system won't be working as well. Your mental acuity won't be working as well. How many times have you eaten and sat on the couch going, oh my God, I want to fall asleep, right? Um, so we want to learn how to eat in different chunks of time. It's called intermittent fasting. And we're going to teach you how to do it in a way that is healthy for your body. A lot of people jumped on the bandwagon, 7 years ago, and then they found out an article here or there, and they were trying to do this, but they weren't doing it right. Okay. So they got sick, they quit. It's not about a diet, it's about a lifestyle change. And we're going to be taking you through that lifestyle change in the 30-day lifestyle, the 30-day program we're putting you through. And so I think that you'll get a lot out of it. We're going to go through again. What is fasting and what is autophagy? This is a key word, autophagy. Phagy means to eat, auto means self. So autophagy is when your body starts to break down your own body parts in order to create fuel. So when you fast, rather than having the foodstuffs that you put in your body to feed you, your body is going to look around and find old, bad, broken down cells, different toxins, foreign bodies, and they're going to take those and turn them into fuel because the body has one goal, and that's to survive. So autophagy is really cool. And when you fast, your body gets to go into autophagy. And we're going to teach you how to steer that correctly and how to do it correctly. So, um, when think about a rotten bowl of, or a bowl of apples, and then one apple starts to rot. If you don't get that rotten apple out of there, the whole bowl is going to go up, right? But if you see that and you get rid of the rotten apple, the rest of the apples are going to last a while. So you pulling that rotten apple out of there is a type of autophagy. You're getting rid of the bad stuff. Your body does that to old cells called senescent cells or zombie cells, they've been coined. So these old cells that have lived their life and they haven't died because their life cycle screwed up by all the messed up signaling, by all of the environmental toxins that we've acquired and created in the last 100 years. These cells, instead of dying a regular death like they should, then they stick around and then they become freeloaders. They actually become troublemakers. Rather than having a job to do, they disrupt the other jobs of the other cells in your body, and they get sick. They start to aberrate. And if they get enough toxins in them, and if they get aberrated enough, the genes inside those cells can get turned on. And then you get a genetic disease, genetic disorders. There's, how many Alzheimer genes do we have? How many breast cancer, colon cancer, liver cancer, pancreatic cancer genes do we have? You know, and then there's the multiple sclerosis. There's all these genetic diseases that start somehow. How do they start? Well, you know, if you had a bunch of faucets sticking out of the wall, if you turned one on, it's going to start to blow water. If you turn it off, it will stop. So that's how genes get turned on, pretty much like that. So imagine a library. You go into a library and there's a bunch of books on the wall. Now, if nobody pulls a book off a wall, it will never get read. It will never be expressed as a concept or as a subject because it's sitting on the shelf. And it might say, turn back your biological clock, but if it isn't pulled out, opened, and read, nobody will know the content of the book. So that's how toxins turn on bad genes. They pull that gene out, they disrupt it by being inside the cells because the cell walls are so messed up that toxins get entrapped in the cells rather than being ejected out of the cells to get out of the body through the liver and kidney, as I was mentioning before, skin and lungs as well. So now that book or that bad gene gets pulled off the shelf by the librarian, which is toxins. If it gets opened and read, it's now expressed. So those genes become expressed. The bad genes will start to create problems in your body. So if those genes never get opened, then that you'll never have that type of cancer or Alzheimer's or whatever it is. So the key to staying healthy is to make sure those genes don't get turned on. How do you stop yourself from getting them turned on? Clean up your body, clean up your environment inside your body, around your house, wherever you're being, and then start to pay attention to what you're putting in your body. Now, we're going to be doing this over 30 days. It starts on the 27th of January. I always say June, the 27th of January, and you can join the class. It's go to info at McCollum Family Chiropractic, say, send me the link so I can take a look at the outline of the course. You can decide to join if you want. There'll be Zoom meetings every Monday, and then instructions every day. There's going to be a lot of recipes, a huge bunch of recipes that you'll be able to watch me prepare if you like them. Also, just other ones written out for you. Concepts along the way to teach you about intermittent fasting, when to eat and when not to eat. Also about diet variation, when to eat what and why. You know, since World War II, we've been able to eat what we want, when we want, whenever we want, with whoever we want, you know, because we can get cantaloupe from Mexico or some other country in the cold of winter. We're not supposed to be eating cantaloupe in the cold of winter. The way that we, of course, we're living on the West Coast here, so we don't really have any seasons, but diet variation is how we developed as a species, foraging and eating the food that the land provided us over different types of seasons. And, you know, at some point there wasn't meat available, you know, and or grain. The other times either there was no grain. It was all gone. The fruits would ripen and fall off the tree and go dormant. So you had to eat what was available as it was available. And that's called diet variation. It's an ancient healing strategy to look at how our predecessors stayed healthy. The Hinza, you might have heard of them. They're a tribe that live high in Afghanistan, up 11, 12,000 feet, maybe higher. And these people were found several decades ago to be living over 120, 130 years old or more. And so they started studying the people, the nutritionists went and started studying the Hunza, and they found out that they had a diet of XYZ and they never ate meat. So the scientists came back and said, we've got to duplicate their diet and eat XYZ, no meat. Well, what was interesting is it didn't work as well as they wanted it to. Finally, as the world became a little bit more easier to travel, they started to be able to get up into this place. Um, during the dead of winter. And what did they find? They were eating meat. They had it stored and ready to eat during the off season. So they were eating the rendered fats and oils during the off season. So what happened is a whole new revelation of understanding about how the body survives. You need to eat different types of foods, different times of the year. It's called diet variation and it's ancient healing strategies. So we're going to teach you about that. We want to show you how to go into fasting and out of fasting, into ketosis and out of ketosis. What's ketosis? We're going to teach you that. It's been a buzzword since 2017. We were teaching this before the debacle occurred, and it was a big fad, but people started just doing it by learning what they could find on the internet, and they weren't doing it correctly. People were getting sick. They would go on 2 meals a day or 1 meal a day, and they would never change. Not a good idea. It violates the principle of diet variation and ancient healing strategies. So, whatever you're doing can't violate these key strategies that have allowed us to be healthy, and these ancient tribes to be healthy. So, we'll be teaching this. And it's going to start January 27th. It's online. You go to info@mccollumfamilychiropractic.com, or you can call 831-459-9990 and say, hey, send me the link so that I can join the class. And you're going to get everything you need on the internet. I will be doing classes every Monday, and there's going to be a whole bunch of great information for you so that you can learn how to fish. See, we don't want to just give it to you. We want to teach it to you so you can duplicate it yourself. So the purpose of the 30-day workshop is not just to help you lose weight or get more energy or change the way you think or the way you eat. It's to change the way you think about it because it's a lifestyle change. Diets never work. They work for a little bit of time. But then what ends up happening, people go on calorie restriction diets, and then, finally they go, the heck with this. I'm not losing weight anymore on this calorie restriction diet. So they break it. And not only do they regain the weight they lost, but they gain more. It's like a springboard effect. And this is because they're violating diet variation and ancient healing strategies. So we'll be teaching you this. So a diet that restricts calories might get you somewhere, but it's not sustainable. You need to do a lifestyle change to make this sustainable, and we'll be teaching that. Okay, so ancient healing strategies, diet variation. We talked about autophagy, when your body's breaking down the bad cells in your body that have been laying around reaping havoc. They turn into very sick cells. They can stop other things from working. They can contaminate different parts of your body. So we need to get the body to eat itself, called autophagy. Your body's very bright. It's innate intelligent we have. The greatest physician who ever lives right here, somewhere around here. Okay. It's called your innate intelligence. And we're going to tap into that and let the body heal itself. I had a friend of mine just recently develop a pretty bad problem in her gut, right? And it went on for a few days, and we were thinking, okay, is this not physical? Could it be appendicitis? It was on the right side. Could it be some kind of infection in her intestines? She ended up going to emergency room. All that was ruled out. Then they thought it might have been her ovary on that side. After thousands of dollars in emergency, thank God it wasn't life-threatening, but they didn't find anything. So they sent her home. She's starting to feel a little bit better, but what's that tell you? They couldn't see it with their microscope or their eyes, so there was nothing wrong. The stuff that causes our body to be healthy or sick is way beyond what you can see and what you can burn out or cut out or drug out. We need to be able to get our body to recognize how to be healthy. We do this by removing the things that stop the communication in the body. Those are a lot of times it's toxins. And, when we look at the health pyramid, there's, three sides to the health pyramid. And, it's physical. That's like the nervous system. You have 31 nerves that come out of your spine and they signal back and forth with 75 trillion cells in your body. So, if you have a disrupted physical nervous system, those nerves aren't going to work well. And the brain isn't going to get the information it needs. And, it's going to start to break down for you. So we have the physical, the chemical, and then the mental emotional. Now, one thing here at my office we do is we have this amazing vitamin, and you can all get a free dose of it. It's called vitamin G, the best vitamin that you could ever find. It's free. There's plenty of it if you look for it, and you got to use it. It's called vitamin G. 100% gratitude. That is one of the main keys to being healthy, is having the right mental attitude. Because if everything's, bad, and then you're not gonna get healthy. Is it easy to change those thoughts? Not always, but that's why the triangle is so important, because all you have to do is raise one angle of the one corner of the triangle, and the rest will raise with it. So you have physical, you have chemical, and you have mental emotional. So we're gonna teach you how to handle the chemical part. There's 60 million functions, chemical reactions a minute in every cell in your body, all 600, or excuse me, 75 trillion of them. Those chemicals drive health or sickness. Inside your cell is something called the mitochondria. Most everybody's heard of that by now. It's the power plant of the cell. And as long as the mitochondria can work and it can get sugar in the form of glucose or ketones, which are broken down fats, then the body can actually burn the fuel and function well. So I'm going to just show you this one page out of my book. It's called Chronic Disease Leads to Chronic Disease is caused by chronic inflammation. Chronic inflammation comes from toxins. So what do? You clean out the toxins, get rid of the chronic inflammation, and allow your body to turn on healthy genes and turn off bad genes. So we'll be teaching this at the workshop. Again, I really hope you decide to join, because I've been on the radio here for 7 years, and so many times we talk about various ways to be healthy, whether it's peripheral neuropathy, which all disease leads to, and we have workshops on that monthly. And we've made huge successes with people that didn't think they could ever take a walk in the park again. The stem cell machine, the soft wave therapy, people that have old injuries, whether it's knees, shoulders, back, hips, feet. We've had in shoulders. Did I already say that? We've had some amazing results with that. But what we're focusing on right now, because the way the world is turning, starting in January, we're becoming much more focused on what's happening in our country health-wise. What's going on with everybody that drives the health industry, the food and drug industry. Those are, if they were working, we'd be the healthiest country in the world. Right now, many countries won't even let our processed food into their country because they don't want the toxins that are in it. And you wonder why we're the sickest country in the industrialized world? Because we're eating the stuff other countries won't eat. So we have to start to educate ourselves on what to eat and not eat. And we're going to be going over that and different things that you can do. We'll be giving you tons of recipes, answering questions for you every Monday night. I will be doing a Zoom meeting, taking you to the next step. Again, we're going to teach you what ketones are, how to burn fats, how to make this engine. Like if you've only had a gas burning engine your whole life, and then you had all of a sudden somebody threw an electrical component or battery component in that car, and you didn't know how to operate it, Of course, all you have to do is flip the switch and it does it for you. But it doesn't know how to operate that way. Our bodies typically don't know how to burn ketones because we've been feeding it sugar types food for so long that it just burns sugar, burns sugar, burns sugar. And so when we teach you how to burn a ketone, half the time your body's going, what the heck's a ketone? I heard about one once. Well, those are the alternate fuel. They burn very clean. Sugar burns like pine, wet pine in a fireplace, very smoky, very toxic. That's what we're eating predominantly. Where ketones burn like a gas stove, just blue flame, very little residue, very little toxic runoff. So we want to teach our body to be able to burn both fuels, ketones and glucose. So a lot of our 30-day workshop is going to be teaching you and helping your body transition into the ability to burn ketones. Because what's ketones? Fat. Do you have any extra fat on your body? I don't know. I mean, you got to look down and look in the mirror and go, am I storing fuel? It's like you go into winter and you got 5 cords of wood there. You'll never burn that in Santa Cruz. But we've got to force our body to burn that excess fuel in a way that's healthy, in a strategic process that's not going to dump too many toxins into your body too quickly and create problems. Now, some of the stuff you see on the market right now, where you can take something and, once a month or something, you get a shot and you lose all this weight. What's it doing? It's burning so much fat so quickly. And that fat is dumping tons of toxins in your body. You may or may not get sick right then, but what do you think those toxins are doing? The body's trying to get rid of them. They're getting into your cells. And guess what? They're going to go and grab a book out of the library called the cancer gene or an Alzheimer's gene or a multiple sclerosis gene or an ALS gene. And they're going to grab those and open them and read them. So if you're losing weight, awesome. If you're not getting the toxins out of the body at the same time you're losing the fat, you're actually a ticking time bomb. And it's so important that you learn how to stop the tick on the time bomb. And ancient healing strategies. So I'll talk about this for a minute, but this is going to be the subject of one of the classes where, we have something called microbiome in our gut. You probably heard about it before by now. We have 100 trillion microbiome or bacteria in our digestive system. 100 trillion. We're only 75 trillion human cells, so we're more bug than we are human. Okay. But those 100 trillion cells our microbiome are pretty cool. What they do is they take anything that we consume that we would not be able to break down at all. It would kill us, clog up our body and kill us if we didn't have a helping hand in our gut called microbiome. It takes and digests all that food product for us, breaks it down into amino acids, fatty acids, vitamins, minerals, turns it into enzymes, neurotransmitters, all these things you've heard about. But without the proper microbiome, they're making bad products, you know? So we need to learn how to um, monitor the microbiome and get rid of the bad guys and help strengthen the good guys, right? So this is how I like to explain this. We have 3 different types of microbiome in our gut. Some that eat sugar, or sweets, simple carbohydrates. Some that eat vegetables from broccoli to a French fry. They all eat kind of the same thing. Then you have the fat absorbing or digesting microbiome. Then you have protein digesting microbiome. So this, for fun, 3 groups. Right now, most of us have a predominant overgrowth of the sugar eating microbiome. They crave sugar. So when you're craving ice cream in the middle of the night or whatever, it's not you, it's your gut. So give yourself a break. You know better. You're being talked into it by these starving microbiome in your gut. Now, the sugar microbiomes, they burn up sugar like that pine in a fireplace. It goes, and what do they need? More. It's like burn newspaper and try to stay warm. You need more. So those starving microbiome eat this simple sugar stuff and turn it into fuel, give you a high, then it's hungry again immediately. This is a very, very dangerous thing because not only does it burn toxic, just like wet pine does, those toxins circulate into the system, get into your cells, get into your brain, and cause problems, damage, turn on bad genes, down regulate the energy of the cell, weaken your immune system, mess up your digestive system, get stuck in the cardiovascular circulatory system. These toxins get in there and they inflame the walls of your arteries. They inflame the cell wall. It's like you ever had poison oak or known somebody that did and their eyes were swollen shut? That happened to me a couple times as a kid. I still had eyes, they were just swollen shut. I couldn't see a darn thing. I had to get the inflammation down so my eyes would be able to perceive my environment. So when you have toxins in your body, imagine 75 trillion cells with poison oak. The cell walls are so inflamed that the good stuff can't get in and bad stuff can't get out of those cells. There's doors that they open. Each particular supplement or vitamin opens a different door, or there's a channel that they go down. And if that channel gets swollen shut, nothing can get in there. There's gates that open to let nutrients in, like sodium and potassium, all these different things you've heard about. So chronic disease has to do with chronic inflammation at a cellular level. So think about this. When you eat, you feel like your stomach's full. Ah, thank God. It isn't your stomach that needs it. It's the 75 trillion cells in your body. So as soon as you put food in your mouth, it starts to get absorbed by or mixed in with saliva, gets down, which starts to break down carbohydrates, gets into your stomach. Different types of enzymes and hydrochloric acid are put in there to break down the proteins. It gets into your small intestine, large intestine. Nutrients are absorbed out of that gut into your bloodstream. Now, there's other stuff that comes out, the end product of that gut. And it doesn't look very healthy, if you ask me. I think you'd agree. All the good stuff is supposed to be absorbed out into the bloodstream, circulated to the 75 trillion cells, deliver its cargo, then take out the garbage. So it's like you go, you order food, whatever it's called, where they bring it to you and put it on your doorstep. They never come and pick it up and throw it away, right? You have to do that yourself. So that's how your cells work. They get the nutrients and then they have to get rid of it. But if you have swollen cells, you're not going to be able to get rid of it. We're going to teach you how to fix this problem. It's a process. It's taken years and years to get here, but we know how to help you. Okay. And we're going to teach you about the real healthy food pyramid. This is, you probably aren't going to be able to see this, but this is the food pyramid that we've been led to believe is correct, where we eat tons of grain and little bits of oils. Especially, you don't want to eat anything that's going to help your brain. You want to get rid of cholesterol because it's going to clog your arteries. So there's a lot of information that you're going to want to look into. We're going to teach you where to look. We're going to help you develop the correct mindset to get healthy. 2025, we have an opportunity to change the healthcare system in this country, change the way that we're looking at stuff. We're not just covering up symptoms like we have been. We're taking a look at stuff like red dye number 3. It's been outlawed today. 30 years ago, they knew it caused the C word in rats, and so many people have been advocating to get rid of this stuff for so long. There's yellow dye number 5 and 6, and blue dye number 1, and green dye number 3, and all these things. And they're still being allowed in our food. Other countries won't take it. You can't get it across the line into another country. They say, don't put that in my cereal. You guys eat it. You in the United States, who are rated 50th in the world for health, and eat 50% of all the medications in the world and are only 4% of the population of the world. So our statistics are terrible. So there's, when you take a look at red dye number 3, which I started talking about, it's a synthetic dye that gives food and drinks a bright red color. Think of those cherries, right? And it's been linked to cancer in animals. It's still in thousands of foods today, even though it's been banned, including candy, cereal, cherries in fruit cocktails, strawberries, flavored milks, you know, all these different types of things. It's in 9,200 foods minimally. Now, the FDA has prohibited it today, but they say they have till 2027 to get rid of it. So don't just expect to go buy that same box off the shelf that you did yesterday now that this has been declared carcinogen. You have to start to read your boxes. We're going to teach you how to read boxes. We're going to teach you how to look at labels. So that will be one of the highlights of one of the weeks is we're going to go through that. In the meantime, there's a very simple principle. Pick up a package. I mean, I don't eat packaged food anyway. I go for the fresh stuff all the time. But, maybe on occasion I'll pick up a box and I'll look at it. And if there's a word or phrase on there you do not understand, put it down and run, because that is definitely something toxic. When it says natural flavors, toxic, you become a consumer beware, okay? Because we've been consuming and we're sick. We've been consuming the food that they want to feed us for the last 50 years and with blinders on. And we are the fattest nation in the world, more obese than any country in the world. When I was a kid, I think there was 2 or 3% of the children might have had an autoimmune disease. Today, it's over 50% have autoimmune disease. In the general population, a study came out of, I think it was Michigan State University that said that 80 million Americans have multiple chronic diseases. 80 million Americans. Another interesting statistic, there are more bankruptcies in the United States due to health issues than any other type of bankruptcy. And, this is crazy. There's a huge number. I can't remember what it is. A very large percentage of all bankruptcies are due to medical issues. Here we go. We go to work. We work hard. We put away. We have our financial legacy, but we don't think of our health legacy. And then we retire and we get sick. And then that's it. We worked all the time to do that because nobody protected us and told us about a health legacy. So we're going to teach you about how to have a healthy legacy and how to turn back your biological clock. That's my book, Turn Back Your Biological Clock. And it's loaded with great information. A lot of it will be going through this book on the course, but you can always get the book and follow it along. It's available on Amazon. But so this is going to be fun. If you're interested in this course, it's a 30-day course. If you want to get healthy, if you want to lose weight really the right healthy way, if you want to get your energy back, if you want to try to slow down or turn back your chronic inflammation and chronic disease, then this could be the course for you. It's very going to be fun, very informative, very easy to access. You go to info@McCollumFamilyChiropractic.com and we'll send you the link. I don't have that all set up there. I'd give it to you today. In fact, it is on the Facebook Live I'm doing. You can click the link there and sign up for the course. But we're going to be walking you through step by step how to turn back your biological clock, how to get your health back. Right now there's going to be a lot of information coming down the pike about how our health has been sabotaged. I don't care about what has happened. I just want to know what we can do now. And we're going to roll out, take the blinders off, take the gloves off, and start talking about how to get healthy today. And if you have chronic issues, if you have a chronic disease, this may not be the course for you. You're going to be given a choice on 3 different beginning, intermediate, and advanced way to do it. But if you have a health issue, you may want to talk to your medical doctor about it first. We don't want to first do no harm is what we call the Hippocratic Oath. Hippocrates said, first do no harm. Anytime you're doing anything health-wise, you have to keep in mind, is this the right thing for that person to do right now? Info at McCollum Family Chiropractic, 831-459-9990. Join us for our 30-day health extravaganza. Get your body healthy again. It's going to start on the 27th of January. It's an evening class, and then we'll give you what you need to do that week. We check in with you every week. You'll have access to email us and ask questions that we will address on the following week. But if you want to try to get healthy, this is the way to do it. I'm so happy to have been trained by some of the top people on the planet on all these subjects. Let's see what I haven't gone over. We've talked about, oh, we're going to teach you how to fast. By the end of the 30-day program, several of you are going to be ready for a 3-day water fast or a 5-day water fast. The cool thing is we know by fasting, you're breaking down senescent cells or zombie cells. So we're going to teach you, and we're going to do it at a gradient. We're starting with daily intermittent fasting. We're going to teach you when to have a feast day. What is a feast day? That's when you eat all day long or what? We're going to have a fast day where you fast for 24 hours. We're going to show you how to put it together to trick your body into believing that you're back in the ancient healing strategies days where you had to feast and famine, you had to forage for different foods at different time of the year, you had to only the fit survived. And we're going to teach you how to be one of the fit so you can survive. Who knows? There's a lot of unknown times coming ahead. You don't want to go into it sick. And most of us already are sick. So by going into this 2025 with both eyes wide open, learning how to put the right foods in your body at the right time, know when not to put food in your body, then learn how to recognize the signs of toxicity, learn how to heal the digestive system so you can eliminate the buildup of toxins that you've got this lifetime, as well as those that have come down 4 generations through mother's umbilical blood. You're going to be able to actually have a life. You're going to be able to have your energy and your health. It's a start. Once we get you through that program, we'll talk about what next. Some people are going to be ready for something. Other people need to do this again. Some people need an intermittent step. But if you don't do anything, nothing's going to change. That's one thing that you can be sure of. If you don't change anything, nothing will change. It took Einstein to figure that out. Come on, makes sense to me. I ain't a genius. I just listen to the geniuses. They teach me what to do. And then if it works, it works. So this is something that can help you tremendously. It's a 30-day challenge starting on January 27th. That's a Monday. Info at McCollum Family Chiropractic for the link, or dial 831-459-9990. 831-459-9990. Again, 831-459-9990. Info at McCollum Family Chiropractic. I'd love to see you there. I'm looking forward to this. It's been a little while since we've done this because of the craziness in the world, but we're ready. Now's the time. Get going, take off your training wheels, and go live life to the best of your ability. That's what you need to do, is live life now to the best of your ability, and don't let the distractions stop you from enjoying your life and having a great life. All right. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you all, and we'll see you on the 27th. All right. Have a great day.